So I had somebody contact me the other day. She's just getting into business, and she has a secure job. She's a banker, but she's starting a business with a friend, and she's basically getting from a situation where she's been secure for her whole life and had a paycheck to starting this new thing where it's a little bit more unsure, but it's part of her dream and it's part of what she wants to do. And her question for me was this: how do you get around that fear of not having a certain paycheck, or that fear of moving forward with something that you're not really certain with? And my answer is this, and something a little bit deeper here. The first is this: courageous people, as we know, don't avoid feeling fear, they act in spite of it, right? So the fear's always there, you're scared, but you do what you have to do anyway, right? And I think that that's a particular answer, but there's something deeper here that we have to get into. And that's the fact that fear in and of itself, it's an emotion, we feel it, but it's a lie, right? And the reason why it's a lie is when you think about our reasons for fear. Take death, for example. We fear death, but why do we fear death when it's going to come to us anyway, right? At some point in our lives, we're all going to die. So under that rationale, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So, and yeah, we could bring our deaths to us earlier, but in my opinion, my bigger fear is of an unlived life, right? The idea that I'm just going to exist here on this planet until I die and not really be doing anything that I like. I don't want to exist in misery. I want to live. So that's kind of the way I looked at things when I was just getting into business, because it was a scary situation for me, and it brought me to some really scary places. I was living out of my car for a while because I was pursuing my dream, right? And because I suffered a major business defeat, but I kept going because what I realized about my fear of poverty, my fear of living out of my car, was that it wasn't so bad. It simplified life a whole lot more, I live in a modest house right now, and that house to me is a fucking palace because I've experienced living out of my car. And then I was able to live out of my car because I've experienced sleeping on the ground when I was in the Marine Corps. To be honest, I could live in a cave as long as I have some books and I have the ability to do some burpees and maybe a kettlebell with me. I'll be awesome. And that's kind of the mentality you have to get into when you're trying to start something new, right? If I fear poverty, well, maybe I do have the ability to live simply. Maybe I don't have to live in the lap of luxury. And most Americans, whether you believe it or not, even if you're living in a one-room apartment, you're living in the lap of luxury compared to a lot of the rest of the world. So that's another way of approaching it. So you have fear of death, fear of poverty. And then maybe fear of lost love is a big one here, because a lot of times we do things where we're trying to start something new, but our loved ones don't quite understand it. So it causes tension in the relationship. And so we're worried that by following that dream, we're going to increase that tension and we're going to lose our significant other. But the reality there is this: would you be happy with a person who didn't want you to pursue your dreams? Would you be happy with a person who didn't want you to act like you? Would that person be in any way good for you, right? And my belief is that you can't be a good partner to somebody unless you're complete and you're following everything that you want to do with your life. And if you're not, then there's going to be some tension there because you're not going to be happy. Wow, my hair is all over the place. I did not put gel in it this morning. I just PT'd, sorry. If you're not, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be unhappy deep inside. So you're not going to be the best partner you could be for that person. So we've got fear of death, fear of poverty, fear of lost love. Then there's fear of disease. Fear of disease really wouldn't come into play here. And then there's a couple of other fears there. I can't remember them. But the bottom line is, fear is a lie. Fear is a lie that you're telling yourself, because what you're about to do is very uncomfortable. Anytime you're about to step into an uncertain situation, it brings discomfort. But the thing about comfort is comfort traps us. Comfort traps us into believing that we're going to be safe where we are, and so it keeps us in the same place and doesn't ever allow us to move forward. When you're feeling uncomfortable, that's usually a sign of growth. That's usually a sign that you're about to do something that's going to change your life in some way. And if you do it in the proper way, it can change your life for the best. It can make you very happy. If you half-ass it, then it could bring more misery. So my advice to anybody who's trying to do anything like this, any sort of life-changing event, is if it's congruent with your dreams and it's what you want to do and it's part of your vision for how you want to live your life, then just do it. Step into it. Of course, be smart about it, but live this life. You don't have a lot of time here. And again, someday you're gonna die. So get out there, move, live. All right? Peace.